appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for July 21st, 2026. The time is 6 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kraft. Present. Mr. Agler.
Present.
Ms. Watson.
President.
Let's all rise to the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
agenda as written.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Caldwell, can we get is there approval of any minutes?
Yes, we have the minutes of July 7th, 2026, regular meeting.
I move that we waive the reading of the minutes and approve as written.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
You have the warrants per your pending warrants report. They're warrants 46730 through 46758, 96109 through 96112.
I move that we approve the warrants.
Second. Roll call.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
That's all for now.
Is that all for now? Okay, I just want to say something before we get into the public comments section. Due to time limitations and the need to begin a hearing at 7 p.m., we will be limiting public comments to 30 minutes to allow time to conduct our regular business. As our practice has been, each person will have up to 3 minutes and we will stop public comments when the 30 minutes has been reached. I expect the audience to be respectful, and if there are any outbursts of applause or shouting interruptions, I will have the option to end the public comments. Public comments are not a requirement of an open meeting. Looks like we've got 8 people signed up, so that should work out just fine for 3 minutes each. The first one on the list here, please come up to the podium, state your name and address, is Ron Rhodes.
Address the board real quickly and
Can you state your name and
pardon?
state your name and address, please?
My name is Ron Rhodes, address 9480 Wagon Trail Lane, Plain City, 43064. Just to address the crowd, I'm a little concerned about all of the information coming out on the paper and everything about what's happening in our own township. A lot of it, from what I'm understanding, is the development or proposed development on Kyle Warner Road. What I want to tell the people here is relax it a little bit. I was a trustee for 40 years. I've never worked with any trustee that would do something to hurt the community. So be patient with them. Sometimes they have to make a decision required by law whether they like it or not. When it comes to zoning, that sort of thing, that does happen quite often. So I'm going to keep that in mind. I have several other issues I will address at a later date with the trustees. That's about all I'm going to say, is just ask the people, just relax it a little bit, take care. The trustees will handle it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is Tracy Stover. Please come to the podium and state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Tracy Stover. Address is 22742 Raymond Road, Raymond, Ohio, 43067. I don't live in this township, but I do live in this county. I'm very, very concerned about what's going on with these data centers. And I'm extra concerned about what's going on with Chief Doug Stewart. You should not even be here. You should not be here. You both should be recused. Your son works for the department, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. You are an embarrassment, and you need to make this stop. He needs to be reinstated. He's been a wonderful man. He's been representing this county perfectly. And all of a sudden, everybody's upset because he endorsed Weslin Davis. Shame on you. We know exactly what's going on. Drink your drink, Andrea. Shame on all of you.
Thank you. Next up is Joseph Rivera. Please come to the podium, state your name and address. Not present, we're going to the next person. Oh, okay.
Oh, already? Started? Over here today?
Yes, please.
Joseph Rivera, 7045 Kyle Road. I call for the immediate formal recusal of Trustee Watson, Trustee Adler, and Administrator Stanley from tonight's personnel hearing due to irreconcilable conflicts of interest. Your own YouTube blogs prove this is an engineered ambush. On April 7th, this board entered executive session, hidden behind a generic agenda placeholder, and emerged to an empty room. Chairman Adler then suggests that Administrator Stanley bring forth a new motion discussed in executive session. Mr. Stanley has hand-picked employment practice firm Zashin and Rich for a predetermined retainer fee. Finalizing a public spending contract completely behind closed doors is a facial violation of the Ohio Open Meetings Act. Proving this prosecution track was active and funded 25 days before you manufactured an emergency. The hypocrisy is breathtaking. Saturday's report from Marysville Matter reveals that Trustee Kraft openly appeared in a campaign photo alongside Chief Stewart. Trustee Kraft merely appearing in a routine photo does not trigger a statutory conflict or legal recusal. Any attempt by council tonight to manufacture a conflict for Trustee Kraft simply to force a total board recusal and invoke the rule of necessity is bad faith administrative deception. The statutory violations sit squarely with Administrator Stanley and Chairman Adler, who privately signed binding non-disclosure agreements with Amazon without a public vote. You hid your corporate PACs, but you're trying to fire a chief who stood up for the citizens and publicly warned Amazon that their data center fires were putting an unreimbursed public strain on our public safety infrastructure. Your loyalties are divided, thus you cannot be trusted to remain fair or impartial. And again, my public records requests were met with a blockade, a voluminous blockade. You are withholding those files because they completely implicate your actions. Finally, Trustee Watson, you voted to fund this specialized prosecution despite having an immediate family member on the fire department who could potentially benefit from the upward promotions created if the chief is removed. Under ORC section 102.03, you were legally mandated to abstain. Because you voted, the entire contract is null and void. I personally appeal to you to step back from this file and reconsider your future in this role overall before this veteran council compromises your integrity. In April, your colleagues should have had your best interest in mind and opposed the participation in this vote. Instead, they used you to get what they wanted. Union County Prosecutor's Office, you are either an accomplice to this silence or an independent enforcer of the law. We demand full statutory accountability and an independent investigation into the illegal origins of this selective political purge. With 3 recusals, the board loses its quorum. Any choice by this conflicted majority to reject these recusals and move forward tonight reduces these proceedings to an objective sham that cannot withstand independent judicial scrutiny. These charges must be dismissed.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up on the list is David Morse. Please come to the podium, state your name and address.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pass.
Okay, thank you. Next, we've got Darrell Will, I believe. Please come to the podium, state your name and address.
Darrell Will, 8877 Code Drive. I have a list of questions on 2 topics: contractual authority and governance standards. Under what statutory or contractual authority did the township administrator execute a non-disclosure agreement with Amazon or associated entities without prior formal approval or public disclosure from the Board of Trustees? Secondly, does the administrator's employment agreement or the township personnel policy handbook permit an administrative officer to bind the township or its operational departments to third-party confidentiality restrictions without board authorization? Third, given that former trustee Weslyn Davis was never informed of nor consented to these non-disclosure terms during her tenure, was this agreement kept from the full board? And does the omission constitute a breach of administrative transparency or policy? The second topic is selective enforcement and regulatory standing. If the administrator's signature on a private corporate NDA creates a contractual conflict with township operations, how can he objectively recommend administrative disciplinary charges regarding an operational impact letter sent to Amazon. Secondly, was the fire chief's operational warning letter regarding infrastructure strain evaluated on its technical merits, or is the administrator using disciplinary charges to enforce the corporate non-disclosure terms that the public and former board members never agreed to? And finally, if an administrative officer acted outside his contractual scope or personnel guidelines to protect the developer's confidentiality, is the township opening itself to legal liability by selectively enforcing policies against department heads who raise legitimate public concerns? Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is Linda Chapman.
Good evening, Linda Chapman, 8343 McKittrick Road, Plain City, Ohio 43064. I'd like to speak about the future of Fire Chief Doug Stewart's job. Because of the lack of transparency and no public discussion, it is difficult to know what actually started this and the township allegations against him. It is hard for me to believe that his appearance in uniform with the candidate running for state representative is what started it, especially since he appeared previously with a trustee in one of his campaigns and nothing was noted then. I don't believe that the publicized allegations are worthy of his dismissal, along with his 36 years in fire service and 8.5 years in the Air Force and many other credentials. I support him and the job he has done as Jerome Township's fire chief for our community. Please do not follow through with this dismissal. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is Laura Darwin. Please state your name and address.
Yep, I'm Laura Darwin. I live at 7289 Kyle Road. I ditto Linda Chapman, just throwing that out there. So I have a question. So, Mr. Adler, on the archived April 7th meeting footage, you explicitly instructed administration to execute a motion, quote unquote, based on what was discussed in executive session to hire Zashin and Rich. So can you explain to the taxpayers in this room that you finalized a specific firm selection and extract retainer amount inside a closed executive session in direct violation of the Ohio Open Meetings Act? I would like some answers for that.
Thank you. Next on the list is Zach Ford.
Hello, Zach Ford, 10101 Mitchell DeWitt Road, Plain City. Two questions, one for Fiscal Officer Caldwell. Under Ohio Revised Code, Section 5705.41D, public funds cannot be encumbered without a signed fiscal certificate. On what exact date did you sign and certify the public funding certificate for Zashin and Rich retainer? Was that funding encumbered prior to the secret executive session on April 7th, or was it finalized in the empty room afterward? And one more question for Administrator Brandon Stanley. You are the primary accuser bringing policy charges against Chief Stewart for appearing in a campaign video. Since Saturday's Marysville Matters investigative report publishes proof that Trustee Joe Kraft openly engaged in the same campaign photography behavior with the chief, will you be filing formal disciplinary charges recommending the termination of Trustee Kraft tonight? Or is this policy only enforced against safety officials who challenge your corporate data center agreements? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. That concludes our public comments section. Next up is our public safety officer. Public safety officer, please come forward.
I'll keep this really quick and brief. When I was here last meeting, we had talked about the SRO funding, and if you guys were committed to the 0.25% or 25% of the debt fee for the SRO. I have everyone's signature except for your guys's. School officials from Dublin signed off on it, as well as the commissioners. So I wanted to see if you guys could sign this tonight, and then I'll make sure I send back a scanned copy to Mr. Caldwell. So if I can bring that up.
Mr. Caldwell, will we need a motion to move forward in this? Has that already been approved?
Yes, you already indicated that you wanted to go forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I also have additional paperwork I forwarded to Mr. Caldwell earlier via email. I had worked through some projections from last time I was here, and he was talking about the potential levy renewal for the PSO program. Those numbers were ran, and I have multiple scenarios for consideration for you guys. Thank you. I'll make sure you guys get a scanned copy of the agreement with everyone's signature. And other than that, I am done unless you guys have additional questions or comments for me.
Talk about the levy now.
Well, do you have some questions about this information now, and we can continue to discuss the levy after we get through the administrative report?
No question on the projections, no.
Okay, well, you're going to stick around because we've got you on the agenda coming up in a little bit.
I'll be here.
Police protection levy comes up in a little bit here after the administrator's report. Anything for us?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Be safe out there, please. Next on our agenda is the administrator report. Mr. Stanley, would you please present that?
Thank you. Just real brief, we have not yet received any other guidance from the state on the funding that was authorized for the new playground out here. And that is supposed to be coming from ODNR is my understanding. So whenever we get it, we'll review and follow through with their procedure. I'm sure they'll have some internal operating procedure to follow and so on. So I'll keep you posted on that, and then we'll get that process rolling so we can get that playground done. With that said, we did have a resident reach out either over the weekend or early this week about the playground over in New California, and Mr. Graber is going over and is looking at that as well. So just to keep that stuff on your radar. We still don't have an updated quote on the basketball court over at Ryan Memorial Park. That is pending, and we're hoping to get that company out there as soon as we can to get an update. And that's all.
Do you want an update on the pond overflow also?
Yeah, so the company that I believe Vince wants to go with, they are recommending that we wait. They're extremely busy. They specialize in pond overflow and drainage problems. It is a collapsed tile. That's what's causing it. So in Vince's estimate, he believes that the pond is about 3 feet above where it normally would be if the tile wouldn't have collapsed. So in order to do that, they're going to have to pump it down, and they're recommending we wait until about fall. So that's all I can tell you at this point.
Any updates? Fire department?
I have none.
Zoning department?
No, unless Eric asked.
Where is Mr. Snowden available?
I think he's okay. I don't think he had a report for tonight.
Okay, well then let's move along then to old business and discuss the police protection levy. Mr. Caldwell, would you like to lead towards that?
So the board had approved a resolution of necessity which was sent to the Union County Auditor's Office. She responded with a certificate for both a flat renewal of the 1.2 mil police protection levy and a 1.2 renewal with a 0.1 increase. The 1.2 renewal would generate $662,900, approximately what we were estimated to collect in 2026. The current levy expires with tax year 2026, collection year 2027. So November of 2027 is the first time it could be put on the ballot for action. Based upon current level of staffing.
Would you say that again for me? The years.
So our current levy expires with tax year 2026, collection year 2027, because collection is a year in arrears.
And the soonest we could put on the ballot would be November
of
26th.
2027. No, 26, year 2026, this year. Based upon current service level, the 1.2 renewal would be enough to continue that level of service and actually even increase that. We have used some of those funds for special duty and overtime duty for traffic enforcement, but money-wise, it's been relatively limited. So we do have a healthy reserve within the fund to not only continue at the current level, but potentially even increase a bit. So it's kind of up to the board of what do you see in the next 5 years. This would be a 5-year levy running from tax year 2027 through tax year 2032 of what you see as far as growth of what. Of course, we could always run a new levy at any time in the interim. So it's really up to the board of what they would like to do now. Options are go ahead and go on the November ballot with one of these two options, or if you're considering something else, you'd probably have to wait until the first election in 2027.
What would the 1.2 mil renewal?
It will collect $825,500, approximately $163,000 more than just the 1.2 renewal. So based on the sheriff's estimates, that is one officer at 100% funding from us, not a split with Mill Creek.
If we keep it to 1.2, it does not appear that would be sufficient to add an officer before that point.
The current projections have that we are in the black of about $100,000 for this year. Plus we have a reserve within the fund because we previously, 5 years ago, asked for a 0.1% increase in anticipation of adding an additional officer, which did not take place. So we do have monies within the fund to fund another officer for the 5-year period until the next renewal date came up.
And that's assuming Mill Creek does not have the 20% of an additional person?
Correct. That would be 100% funded by us. Some of those decisions would probably have to be made with a joint meeting with Mill Creek to see. I believe that their levy is also on for November. Will that provide enough for them to take on 20% of additional officer, or are they maxed out on what they're collecting?
I think we should just do the renewal and put it on this November. Would be where I'm at.
Is that your recommendation too, Mr. Caldwell?
I think so, without a definitive plan of increase in staffing currently. I think renewal, especially in light of current economic conditions, this would be no tax increase for the residents.
Okay, what is the status, and do we need to pass a resolution or motion?
A resolution to proceed is what you would need for the 1.2 mil renewal.
Any further discussion? Okay, I'll make a motion to proceed with the 1.2 mil renewal for the police protection levy in the November ballot,
26.
26.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Watson?
Yes.
We have to sign some paperwork for proceeding.
I need to get that.
You don't have it?
No, I'll get it for you.
Okay. Anything under new business, Mr. Stanley? We are moving right along with this meeting faster than expected, so, go through announcements. To get updates on road projects in the township, please visit our website. To get updates on ODOT projects, including State Route 42 and Industrial Parkway, click the link on our website or visit the ODOT website, District 6. I might add an additional comment here. I did have a brief conversation this morning with Mr. Stouch, our Union County engineer, and he indicated that apparently the fiber optics have been moved, but the telephone poles still have to be moved, and then they have to get on the Shelley construction schedule, which he thinks Shelley is already tied up in the immediate future, so he's not sure how soon that they can get along to continuing the project here on both Route 42 and Industrial Parkway. So we're still waiting to hear a definitive answer on that. But when that happens, we will also close off the northbound traffic here going on Industrial Parkway. So just be aware that that is still about to happen, but we don't know when yet, and it's not likely to happen in the next day or two, but it's probably, hopefully going to happen sooner rather than later. Otherwise, the work gets pushed back in the wintertime, and it may carry over into next year also. If you would like to receive notifications regarding the Board of Trustee meetings, please email the Township office at jerometownship@jerometownship.com. And the Township is always accepting applications for positions on our zoning boards. Please visit the Jerome Township website to fill out an application. Is there any need for an executive session this evening? Mr. Gray, do you
I don't know.
No need for an executive session. Okay, well, we are ending this regular portion of the meeting earlier than expected, so we're going to take a break now and try to decide if we're going to start before the 7 p.m. advertised time. So I move that we adjourn the regular session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Regular session is adjourned. The time is 6:29 p.m. Let's take a 5-minute break. You good?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to call to order the public hearing of the Board of Trustees. We're starting earlier than the 7 p.m. time. The time is 6:46. We don't typically have to pledge during a public hearing, so we're going to move right into the beginning of the meeting here. Our purpose this evening is to hold a hearing as provided by sections 733.35 through 733.39 of the Ohio Revised Code. Certain charges of misconduct against Jerome Township Fire Chief Douglas Stewart are the specific matter before the Board of Township Trustees. Mr. Caldwell, will you please call the roll for this public hearing by the Board of Trustees of Jerome Township?
Mr. Kraft?
Present.
Mr. Adler?
Present.
Present.
Ms. Watson?
Okay, present.
Out of sorts.
I know, right? I thought you said my name, I didn't even hear it.
Is that a microphone that fell off?
Okay, we understand and appreciate the high level of interest in this matter in the Jerome Township community. However, the high interest has created some practical challenges providing seating and space for the board. The parties and legal counsel have taken up about half of the space available in this room. After consulting with county building department officials and the township fire safety officer, we have concluded that slightly fewer than 50 people can be safely accommodated in the remaining space. Knowing that more than 50 people may be interested in observing these proceedings, the township is live streaming the hearing on its YouTube channel at Jerome Connections. You can access this directly using the handle, or you can access it from Meeting Schedules tab button on the township homepage. For those of you present in the hall, it is essential that the door to the parking lot and the aisle leading to it be kept clear. Please do not linger in that aisle or door. Please also keep the aisles between and around the rows of chairs clear. We have set aside space for broadcast media, cameras, and if that space is not used by media, we will add chairs for open seating. Also seated with us is Thane Gray, one of the assistant prosecuting attorneys. Mr. Gray will have no part in deciding the charges. That's up to the board members. Instead, his function will be to answer any questions for the board as to the correct procedure for handling this, and also if we have any questions concerning law or statute. Mr. Gray will be helping us with that. Let me introduce Asia Mays, who is the court stenographer for the evening. Her role is to record everything that is said during the meeting. To that end, I ask that members of the public in the hearing room remain quiet. Extraneous comments, including jeering, cheering, or anything in between, are not appropriate. There will be no public comment in this hearing. I ask that the participants in the hearing not speak over each other, only one person talking at a time. When you're speaking, keep your voice up so that we can all hear what you say. Use your words. The court reporter cannot record your head nod, your head shake, or your shoulder shrug. The court reporter has a difficult time distinguishing between ha-ha and ha-ha. The court reporter will not automatically prepare a transcript of the hearing. If anyone wants a transcript, you will need to contact the court reporter directly and pay the cost of the transcript. Finally, the court reporter will have each witness swear or affirm to tell the truth before that person begins to testify. I will now have counsel for the parties enter appearances and introduce themselves. I will start with Mr. Downs.
Good evening, members of the board. Ms. Letcher, my name is Jonathan Downs from the law firm of Zashin and Rich, special labor counsel to Jerome Township Board of Trustees.
Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Seifert, also from Zashin and Rich on behalf of the township. Nice to meet you, Ms. Letcher.
Next, Ms. Letcher.
And I'm Barbara Letcher. I'm with the law firm of Mallory, Yule, and Galliano, and I'm here on behalf of Chief Stewart.
Thank you. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, we are here this evening for a hearing on charges of misconduct that have been filed regarding Jerome Township Fire Chief Douglas Stewart. I will review briefly the steps in that process that led to this hearing. On May 2nd, 2026, the Board of Township Trustees placed Fire Chief Douglas Stewart on paid administrative leave and directed Township Administrator Brandon Stanley to investigate reports of alleged misconduct by Chief Stewart. Mr. Stanley conducted the investigation as directed by the board. As a result of that investigation, an initial statement of charges was prepared and provided to Chief Stewart on or about June 8, 2026. Thereafter, an amended statement of charges was prepared and dated June 15, 2026. The amended statement of charges was provided to Chief Stewart and Ms. Fletcher on June 16, 2026. On July 7, 2026, meeting of the Board of Township Trustees for Jerome Township, the board formally received the June 15, 2026 amended statement of charges. As required by revised code, Section 733.36, the board set those charges for a hearing at its next regular meeting tonight, July 21st, 2026 at 7 p.m. Chief Stewart was present at the July 7th, 2026 trustees meeting when I announced the time, date, and place of the hearing on the charges. Chief Stewart was formally served on July 16th, 2026 with a copy of the notice of hearing and the amended charges dated June 15th, 2026. Chief Stewart has not requested an extension of the date for the hearing. Chief Stewart, through his legal counsel, has said that he chooses to have the hearing on these charges conducted in open session. The procedure for the hearing will be this. Each party will have a chance to present an opening statement to give an overview of what the evidence that party intends to present will show. Mr. Downs will go first, presenting evidence regarding the charges. Ms. Letcher will have an opportunity to cross-examine witnesses called by Mr. Downs. Similar rounds of follow-up questions may be asked based on matters addressed in the immediately preceding round of questions to the witness. After Mr. Downs has presented all his witnesses, Ms. Letcher will have an opportunity to present evidence. Mr. Downs will have an opportunity to cross-examine the witnesses called by Ms. Letcher. One or more rounds of follow-up questions as needed, as I just noted. When Ms. Letcher has presented all the witnesses she intends to call, Mr. Downs will have the opportunity to call rebuttal witnesses. At the conclusion of all the evidence, counsel for each side will have a chance to present closing arguments. Mr. Downs will go first and last because he has the burden of proof. Ms. Letcher will present closing arguments after Mr. Downs' initial argument. At the conclusion of the closing arguments, the Board of Township Trustees will deliberate on the evidence that has been presented. The board may choose to deliberate privately, as in an executive session. The board may invite Mr. Gray in to provide advice on the law, but he will not otherwise participate in the deliberations or decision. The board may reach and announce a decision immediately after the conclusion of the hearing. Alternatively, the board may decide to continue its deliberations to another date. If that happens, the board will announce the time, date, and place for reconvening its deliberations. Regardless of when a decision is made, the board will take that action in a public session. We anticipate that this hearing will not be completed tonight. If that is the case, the parties have discussed available dates to continue the hearing. When we get to the end of the evening, we will assess where we are at in the hearing, how much more time may be required, and announce the time, date, and place for reconvening the hearing. A moment ago, I used the term burden of proof. The party that claims certain facts exist must prove that is the case. That duty is known as the burden of proof. In this hearing, the burden of proof is on the township to prove the facts necessary to support its claims regarding Chief Stewart. In this proceeding, the standard for determining whether the claims regarding Chief Stewart are proven is a preponderance of the evidence. that is, quote, the greater weight of the evidence. The law requires that 2/3 of the members elected to this board must vote in favor of any decision to remove Chief Stewart from his position. Proceeding will not be governed by the rules of evidence, as would apply if this was a trial in a court of law. This board may be guided by provisions of the rules of evidence, but those rules do not apply strictly. The purpose of this hearing is to afford Chief Stewart the opportunity to hear and defend against the specific charges lodged against him. As the presiding officer, I am ordering the separation of witnesses. The purpose for separating witnesses is to ensure that each witness gives testimony based on his or her own independent memory of the facts. The separation order applies to any person who is or may be a witness as long as that person may be called or recalled to the witness stand to give testimony. While subjects to the separation order, witnesses are not to listen to or discuss the proceedings with any person. Witnesses are not to listen to or read any account of the proceedings from any form of media, mainstream media or social media, including the township's live stream. Witnesses subject to the separation order may talk to the lawyers about the witness's own testimony, but are not to inquire about any other witness's testimony. Lawyers for both parties are instructed not to share information about any other witness's testimony with a witness subject to the separation order. Mr. Stewart, as the respondent, may remain throughout the hearing. Brandon Stanley, as the township's designated representative, may remain throughout the hearing. Any other witnesses must remain outside the hearing room while testimony and related proceedings are taking place. You may stay any other place outside the hearing room, but you should choose to be close enough that when you are required for testimony, you can take the stand without undue delay. Under the law, Chief Stewart has the right to have the charges read at the hearing. Ms. Letcher, I understand that Mr. Stewart waives the reading of the charges. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Let the record reflect that Chief Stewart, through his counsel, has waived reading of the charges. I also understand that the parties have stipulated certain facts and that the stipulated facts have been reduced to a jointly signed statement. Is that correct, Ms. Letcher?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct, Mr. Downs?
Yes, sir.
The effect of the stipulation is that neither party is required to present any other testimony regarding those facts. However, each party has reserved the right to object to the relevancy of any of the stipulated facts. Finally, I understand Mr. Stewart wishes to have the stipulations read into the record. Is that correct, Ms. Letcher?
Yes.
Mr. Gray will read the stipulations into the record.
The parties have stipulated the following facts. Both parties reserve the right to object to relevancy. Number one, Doug Stewart was appointed as Fire Chief of Jerome Township on July 1, 2017, and served as Fire Chief of Jerome Township during all times relevant to this matter. Number two, Doug Stewart was placed on administrative leave on May 2, 2026. Number three, an investigative interview of Doug Stewart was conducted on May 14, 2026. Number four, Doug Stewart received and signed a garrity notice on May 14, 2026 in connection with the investigatory interview. Number five, the Township Administrator prepared a written summary of the May 14, 2026 interview with Doug Stewart in connection with the investigation. Number six, a meeting was conducted on June 8, 2026 with the Township Administrator and Doug Stewart, where Doug Stewart was presented with a separation agreement. Number seven, Doug Stewart was served by the Township Administrator via email with the statement of charges on June 15, 2026. The statement of charges were filed with the Board of Township Trustees on July 7, 2026. Doug Stewart was served with the statement of charges on July 16, 2026 by the Sheriff's Office. Number nine, Doug Stewart's Facebook account named Doug Stewart is publicly available at Facebook. Wesleyan Davis's first Facebook account named Wesleyan Davis is publicly available at Wesleyan Davis Pipe Facebook. Number 11, Wesleyan Davis's second Facebook account named Wesleyan for State Representative is publicly available at Wesleyan Davis for State Representative Pipe Facebook. Number 12, Doug Stewart was elected to serve as a member of the Union County Republican Central Committee in 2022, 2024, and 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Gregg. Mr. Downs, you may now open.
Before we open, sir, I would like to make sure that we're certain that there are no witnesses who are expected to testify on behalf of either party. I will assure you that the witness, other than Brandon, who will testify for the township, is not present in this room. I should like such assurances from Mr. Stewart's counsel.
Ms. Davis will be testifying on behalf of Mr. Stewart, and she is present in the room, but is leaving.
Thank you.
We do have a conference room available for separation of witnesses.
Thank you, ma'am. I will keep the opening very brief. The stipulations of fact have been read into the record. Those stipulations, along with the instructions from the chair, identify the procedural issues that are before you. We are responsible to provide to you the substance behind those and how that conduct, specifically the conduct of Mr. Stewart, violated various policies of the township and various policies of the fire department, which it will be shown were authored by Mr. Stewart. Mr. Stewart, with a long history in public employment, we believe, need to admit that he has an understanding of what it means to have political activity by someone who is in a protected position in public government. In the city of Delaware, he was a firefighter and then later promoted, and that was under what's called civil service law. It does not specifically apply to townships, nor does it specifically apply to Jerome Township. But under civil service law, there are prohibitions against political activity of the same nature and content which Mr. Stewart engaged in, both in endorsing candidates and sitting on a partisan political committee of a partisan political party. With that, that is also known sometimes as the Hatch Act or the Mini Hatch Act, given the standards from the the federal Hatch Act, which also has prohibitions against local governments for having people participate in partisan political activities if they are receiving federal monies, which this township has under what's called the SAFER grant. That's SAFR grant, and I'm sorry, I don't know all the acronyms. But this township has received SAFER monies in the past, and to be eligible for SAFER monies in the future and not be accepted under a finding of fault under the federal government standards, that would also apply. Given the fact that the township policies and the policies that are written by and adopted by the township for the governance of all of the employees in the fire department, including the chief, mostly authored by the chief, I understand. We'll ask him that more directly. Also lay out prohibitions of political activity, that was violated by Mr. Stanley in his role here. So the two areas of political activity, the one was the political activity with respect to endorsing candidates. I'm sure we'll hear some explanations, but we'll have some questions from Mr. Stewart as to what the justification for that was. But also sitting on an elected office, which has been stipulated, and we have stipulated exhibits for that as well, identifying his participation in a partisan political office. There's a difference between a partisan office and a non-partisan office. And in government in Ohio, that is readily ascertained by whether or not there is a political affiliation assigned to the political office for purposes of election. There is none for school boards, trustees for townships, and some cities. If you are a partisan political candidate, if you're a candidate for state representative, that is a partisan political office. So a major distinction here is whether or not it is partisan. Everything has a political tone to it, including some hearings, but at this point, for partisan political activity, and the law will show you under the Mini Hatch Act, under the state statutes, analogous situations where persons participating in nonpartisan offices can continue and engage in that or endorse those candidates, but people who are in partisan, people who are employed by government cannot and should not, under the Hatch Act principles, be engaged in partisan political activity, including but not limited to endorsing partisan political candidates. So that's a distinction that is sometimes lost on some people, but it is a very important distinction, and a distinction that's been understood by and enforced by the courts for many years. Two more violations are pretty clear with respect to Mr. Stewart's conduct. The first is his letters regarding a facility inside the township, where by doing so he held himself out as a representative of the township without authority to do so. Speaking on policy matters for the township is the sole purview of the township trustees, until and unless the township trustees allow that to be, or engage someone in their employ to identify what those positions are from a policy matter. But then after having made those statements as an official of the township, he was instructed to not follow up and failed to follow that instruction. A clear violation of instructions given to him and a clear act of insubordination. The last item was his conduct of an insubordinate manner to a superior officer in the meeting that was conducted on June 8, 2026, and his conduct with respect directly to Mr. Stanley, and we'll get into the details of that. It was an outburst of anger and disrespect, which constitutes insubordination, which identifies the nature of the conduct throughout. So with that brief opening, we're ready to begin with our witnesses, but we defer to Ms. Letcher if she wishes to go now or not.
Before I begin, I would like to raise a few preliminary objections that are related to these proceedings, which I believe preclude the hearing going forward. The reason being, the hearing as proceedings have been set up, they violate Chief Stewart's due process rights. First of all, on December 30th of 2025, the township adopted a resolution that established and clarified the terms and conditions of his employment as the Jerome Township Fire Chief. Pursuant to that resolution, the chief would remain employed as fire chief unless his employment is terminated pursuant to the removal provisions provided in Ohio Revised Code sections 505.38 and 733.35 through 733.39. And that's in paragraph 21 of the resolution. Now, pursuant to our Revised Code 505.38A, to initiate any removal proceedings, and for that purpose, the board must designate a fire chief or a private citizen to investigate the conduct and prepare the necessary charges in conformity with those sections. The board took no official action to designate an individual to investigate the alleged conduct. That is evident from the record of proceedings for the May 2nd, 2026 trustee meeting. And we had requested in a public records request any resolution that may document the appointment of the administrator as the investigator. That request was denied as there are no public records that exist. And in this case, Mr. Stanley is not a private citizen. A private citizen is one whose duties are not related to or dependent on his position. In this case, one of the reasons he was appointed to do the investigation was the evidence was shown was because of his job as the administrator of the township. And he answers to the trustees. So in that capacity, he is not qualified to serve as an investigator for this proceeding. Second, the scope of the investigation requires that any conduct alleged and included in the charges be investigated. That's also found in section Revised Code 505.38. Now, in the charges that were issued on June 15th of 2026, there were 4 charges. 2 of the charges were included in the investigation. The first charge and the second charge. Charge 3 and charge 4 were not. In the investigation report related to the investigation, there's no reference whatsoever to the Amazon letter that is at issue in charge 3. He was not questioned regarding it, and it does not appear in those documents. Same is true for the alleged misconduct on June 8th of 2026. Admittedly, that occurred after he conducted his investigation, but it was a scenario where only Mr. Stanley and the chief were in the room. So as to charge 3 in particular, since there was no investigation of charge 3 pertaining to the unauthorized use of his official position, township resources, and official authority in communications with Amazon Web Services, charge 3 cannot be used to support his removal. Next, there's an issue with the timeliness of the charges. Revised Code Section 733.35 provides that when the Board of Township Trustees has reason to believe that the head of the department is guilty of misfeasance, malfeasance, nonfeasance, misconduct in office, gross neglect of duty, gross immorality, or habitual drunkenness while in office, the board shall immediately file written charges against such department head. Charge 3 is also not a proper basis for the removal of the chief in this case because it is extremely untimely. The letter itself was authored on July 18th of 2025, nearly a year ago. And the trustees were aware of the letter at the time it was sent, if not very soon thereafter. Charge 2, which involves his participation on the Union County Republican Central Committee, is also untimely. He was most recently elected to the position in May of 2026. However, he was first elected in 2022 and again in 2024. That was no secret to the board. And finally, charge 1 may be a little closer call, but the political ads appeared in March and April of 2026. So we object to proceeding on the charge on those charges on the basis that they're untimely. Next, service of charges. Revised Code 733.35 requires that the statement of charges be served at the same time they are filed or as soon thereafter as possible on the person against whom the charges are brought. The statute is very specific in terms of how service must be done. Specifically, the statute states that service may be made on the person or by leaving a copy of the charges at the office of such person. Now, the statement of charges that we're here before the board on tonight are charges dated June 15th, 2026. The memo filing that statement of charges is dated July 7th, 2026. However, the statement of charges were not personally served on Chief Stewart until July 16th, 2026, approximately a month later. All of these procedural irregularities violate Chief Stewart's due process rights. And on that basis, the hearing should not go forward and the charges should be dismissed. On a substantive level, the charges are simply not substantiated. as we will present our case, you will see that for each of the actions alleged, there, and comparing that to what was investigated and what sections of the policies that were alleged to be violated, there's a lot of inconsistencies. The conduct alleged in many cases did not occur. So I think at the close of all the evidence, you'll see that these charges should not have been brought. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Downs.
Call our first witness.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In front of you, you have a book of the exhibits, which we will go through in a timely fashion, along with the questions. The first documents for purposes of the exhibit book are courtesy copies of the statement of, joint stipulations and the joint exhibits, to which we will not refer, but because much of the facts necessary in establishing timelines and the documents pertinent to this matter have been stipulated to, questions regarding some of those facts and some of those specific exhibits will be brief to identify and describe. Beyond that, they are stipulated. So, sir, I would like to, you for the record, please state your name and your current position with Jerome Township.
Brandon Stanley.
Please spell that.
STBRANDON STANDLEY. And I'm the Jerome Township Administrator.
How long have you been with Jerome Township?
Since April of 2023.
Please briefly describe your duties and responsibilities as administrator for the township.
I'm basically the manager of operations for the township on behalf of the board in their absence, or and also direct activities on behalf of the board, and have direct reports, including the fire chief, the road superintendent, the office manager, and the zoning inspector.
So the fire chief is the position of fire chief is one of your subordinates?
Yes.
And you're familiar with a paramilitary organization? Could you describe your familiarity in a paramilitary organization?
Yes, I previously served as a police officer and eventually became a chief of police. Served in that capacity in law enforcement for 28 years, and very much familiar with chain of command and paramilitary.
What is the importance of chain of command in a paramilitary organization to a civilian authority?
Yeah, the importance is great, because if communication is broke down, or policies fail, or people not doing what they're supposed to be doing, that can cause problems. That can cause other issues to arise that don't need to happen.
Do subordinates of yours have authority to act on their own without your permission or without your authorization?
There's things daily that they can make decisions on, but large purchases, most disciplinary matters would come through, at least for awareness purposes. Employee misconduct issues they would bring to me, any number of different things, but I think there's a clear understanding that there's a handbook to be followed and rules and policies.
With respect to those policies, do the department heads have authority to speak on behalf of the Township Board of Trustees on policy matters?
No.
Are you familiar with the position of fire chief for Jerome Township?
Yes.
What is your understanding of that chief's role within the township?
The chief's role is to fully function in a leadership role at the top of the fire division, and ensure that he is educated, trained, which I believe Chief Stewart is, and that he is the ultimate decision maker within the operations of the fire department for staffing and purchasing and special.
Does the chief of fire or the fire chief have an official capacity to act on behalf of the Jerome Township Board of Trustees?
No.
Has the chief, Chief Stewart, acted on behalf of the Township Trustees in public meetings and stating positions on behalf of the public, on behalf of the Township Trustees? In the
Yes,
past?
yes,
And has he done so with permission and authorization from either you or the board?
yes.
What kind of instances are we talking about where he had been previously authorized to speak on behalf of the Board of Trustees?
Yeah, it would be a regular occurrence. As an example, we both attend, and occasionally members of the board will attend the Industrial Parkway Association meeting, for example, and it's very common, it's on their agenda. He'll stand up, he'll give a report, and give a brief update on behalf of the fire department. That group is made up of businesses along Industrial Parkway, and that's commonplace. And then we normally, myself or a trustee, will give an update on behalf of all the other departments.
Has he participated in meetings with Amazon?
Yes.
And please describe what kinds of meetings he's participated on behalf of the trustee with officials from Amazon Corporation.
Yeah, so as far as I can recall, there were instances that he made me aware of where he would meet and discuss safety concerns that he had brought to the attention of me and the board, and that was with our knowledge and with our permission so that we could resolve those matters on behalf of the community.
So I'm going to ask you now, if you would, please just turn to what's joint exhibit number 1 in the tab in front of you. I'm sorry.
Can I grab our water real quick?
Sure. I'm going to ask you, sir, if you would remove the statement of charges from behind tab 1.
Okay.
It's all the pages except the last page. We're going to be referring to that document frequently throughout this, so if you have it outside of the book, it will be much easier for you to flow through this as well.
Yep.
So now, if you would, please go to exhibit number 2, joint 2. And for the record, and for members of the board, this is what I like, these modern inventions called copy machines. They actually have a function which gives us what's called a bait stamp. So at the bottom of every page in the exhibits is the header. It says Jerome Township Hearing 7/21/06, and the 3 numbers that follow that are the page number of the exhibit book. So joint exhibit number 2, for instance, is 007. It will make referring to exhibits and specific pages and exhibits much faster, but I will be referring to the bait stamp page. When I say that, it means the number at the bottom of the middle of the page, of each of the pages in the exhibit book. And I know Ms. Letcher is very familiar with bait stamping. It's a modern invention that lawyers love. Mr. Stanley, would you please explain to the board and to the record what is exhibit joint 2?
This seems to be Chief Stewart's most recent employment resolution with the board that was adopted on December 30th of 2025.
So the last business day of the year?
Correct.
12/30/25. And do you recall who sponsored this resolution at that meeting?
I was not at that meeting. However, in my review of that meeting, it was a posted meeting, and this was one of the topics that was discussed in that meeting.
In paragraph number 1, most of the way down on page 007, there's a paragraph that said job description and duties. They're the job descriptions and duties for the fire chief.
You want me to read that?
No, I just want to acknowledge.
Oh, yes, that is the job
This is
description.
stipulated exhibits, so it speaks for itself at this time.
Yes.
And then going on page 2, or 008, the salary set forth at $162,000. Then more terms after that, I'll get to the point, pension pickups, etc. But I would like to draw your attention, if I may please, after all of the items are there for compensation, there is a paragraph number 22, the status of employment. Do you see that, sir, on page 017?
I do.
And will you read the first sentence, please?
The fire chief is employed by the township on an indefinite basis until such time as the fire chief or the board terminates the fire chief's employment.
Now, Ms. Letcher was kind enough to point out the paragraph immediately before that, which is paragraph number 21, termination of employment referencing certain sections in statute. Do you understand how those sections work?
Yes.
And are those sections in that procedure what was followed in the investigation and the process involving Mr.
Yes.
Stewart?
Yes.
And then, if you would, sir, just identify the header on what is paragraph number 27, duration of, I'm sorry, what is the header on paragraph 27 on page 018?
Duration of resolution.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you if you would go to Joint Exhibit 3, which is 020. We're not going to go through this entire document, which covers from pages 020 through 071, but we will be coming back to the specific pages in it with respect to the charges. Was this policy manual the origin of the standards of conduct for all employees of the township, including Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
Well, each employee in the township is required to review it and sign off that they've not only received it, but that they are aware of it.
So, with respect to the duties of the fire chief, to what extent does the fire chief have independent policy-making authority for the township?
He does not.
What is the responsibility of the fire chief to observe and administer the rules and regulations and procedures of the board, including but not limited to the personnel policies?
Yes.
Is it your belief and position that the fire chief is responsible for following all the policies of the township trustees?
Yes.
Just a moment, I need to back up and ask a question here. In the policy manual, which it's at page 030, is there a provision regarding corrective action and disciplinary procedures?
Yes, there is.
We'll come back to the offenses, which is on page 029, regarding the offenses. We'll come back to that later. All right, now, we will come back to the specifics since we do have joint stipulations of fact, and with also respect to the charges. Not to be redundant, but do these policies apply to all the employees of the township?
Yes.
All the employees of the fire department of the
Yes.
township? Now I would like you to move up to joint exhibit number 5. Do you recognize this?
I do.
Please identify it.
It's a signature page when the policy manual is issued, and thereafter the employee has to print their name, sign it, and date it.
And is this acknowledgement on page 165?
165 is printed and signed by Mr. Stewart on November 27th, 2023.
And this is an acknowledgement, acceptance of the policies and procedures of the township?
Yes.
Next page, 166, please. Same questions?
It's the same document. It's a signature page that Mr. Stewart signed. As updates to the policy manual get revised and updated, the whole manual gets sent back out again, and he acknowledged that he had received it on January 10th, 2025.
Same questions, page 167, sir.
Yes, same thing. We had issued an update. Mr. Stewart signed and dated it on March 19th, 2025.
It says it was returned to the city office manager on 1/15/26, so it was provided to her shortly thereafter. Is that correct?
Can you repeat?
There's an extra line here for this office manager. What does the date show that office manager received the signed statement back from Mr. Stewart?
On that last one we just talked about on March 19th, she received it from him on 3/19/25.
And then on page 168?
Same document, he signed and dated on 12/30/2025 and returned it to the office manager on January 15th, 2026, and she has printed her name.
Same questions, page 169, sir.
Same document with an update. He signed and dated on February 10th, 2026, and returned it to the office manager on February 23rd, and that is the legal policy update that we issued.
Okay, sir, now I'm going to ask you to roll back to tie together what is in joint 4, page 072. You knew we were there.
I'm on 072.
What is 07, I'm sorry, what is joint exhibit 4?
It appears to be the policy manual of the fire department here in Jerome Township.
And do you please read for the record what is in the box at the bottom, who is authorized signature?
Fire chief.
And who would that have been on the date listed there?
Mr. Stewart.
So is it your understanding that this exhibit, which is pages 072 through 164, is a policy procedure manual and standards of conduct for employees of the fire department?
Yes.
Do you understand whether, and can tell us whether or not this policy manual, standards of conduct, apply to the fire chief?
It does.
Who is the primary, to the best of your knowledge, who is the primary author of these rules and policies and procedures?
Mr. Stewart.
Did he bring those to you, edits to those during your tenure as the township administrator?
He did, I believe it was earlier this year upon request.
And what was the request for?
His policies and procedures.
You had to request those for him to bring them to you?
Yes.
And did he?
Yes, he sent them in a digital format.
With respect to enforcing the policies and procedures for the fire department that were authored by Mr. Stewart, who has that responsibility?
He does.
And it would be enforced against whom, sir?
Typically it'd be his own staff, anyone below the rank of chief, and then if it's him, it would be me or the board. We all have that authority.
So let's go back now to the portion of this, the reason why we're here, because of an investigation, results from that investigation. When were you directed by the board to investigate Mr. Stewart?
May 2nd of 2026.
Was the instruction to you verbal or in writing?
Verbal.
Do you believe it needed to be in writing?
No.
And was it who or what board directed you to conduct the investigation?
Who or what board did? The Jerome Township Board of Trustees.
So let's talk about you a little bit again. One of our favorite subjects. Tell me about your experience, and tell the board about your experience of investigating acts of conduct of employees in departments. What is your history?
Years, decades of experience as a first-line supervisor when I became a sergeant many years ago in the police department, and then served in the capacity of chief of police for 12 years and had a variety of personnel matters that would arise from time to time, and that's not uncommon, and I've investigated some here as well.
Let's break this down just a little bit in your career. How many criminal investigations did you conduct while you were in law enforcement in the city of Bellefonte?
Hundreds.
How many internal personnel investigations did you conduct in your time?
Dozens.
And how many times have you conducted investigations here at Jerome Township? Personnel matters.
This is, I think, the first formal investigation I've had to do. I have assisted one other department head with another, probably 3 other personnel matters.
What training do you have in investigations of civil or personnel matters?
lots of training primarily through the Ohio Association of Chiefs of Police provides that training. I also try to attend regular training that the board permits me to go to for human HR type topics.
Okay.
Yes.
Based on your prior law enforcement and supervisor experience, were you familiar with investigating the allegations involving Mr. Stewart?
Am I familiar? Yes.
What was the purpose of your investigation into Mr. Stewart?
The purpose was the board began to receive complaints, concerns, phone calls, and so on. They brought those concerns to me regarding specifically Mr. Stewart's participation in former trustee Davis's campaign for state representative.
Were those concerns was it explained to you that those concerns were brought to you by members of the public as well?
Yes.
What materials did you review before interviewing Mr. Stewart?
Before I interviewed him?
Yes, sir. Before
Yes,
you
I personally looked at newspaper articles, ads, both that were mailers. I recall reviewing a door hanger at one point that was a typical campaign type ad that some candidate may leave on someone's door. Online, social media, which were everywhere at that time, and because the election was in May, and I became aware of this, you know, the concerns began somewhere around April, as I recall.
Okay. And what was the time and the date and location of the interview with Mr. Stewart?
The interview that we scheduled, let me look at that, try to recall. The location was at I wanted it off-site, and that was held at the law firm of Brocious, Johnson and Griggs in the conference room.
Okay. If you would, for a moment, we'll just cross-reference for the record right now. Page 175, joint 9, what does that purport to be?
The investigative interview transcript.
Okay, so let's go back now to the, you wanted to have it at an off-site location.
I did.
Why?
I just didn't feel it was appropriate to have any type of that kind of a conversation with any employee other than a neutral site. I didn't find it that it would be appropriate to have an employee brought here, or even if it was held at the fire stations. I didn't think that was appropriate at all. So the only thought that I could think of without it being another public area was at a law firm.
Did Mr. Stewart agree to have the location?
Yes.
Was he express any displeasure or uncomfort at being at that location?
Not that he mentioned to me, no.
Did you apply the same investigative principles and techniques that you've used in previous investigations in this matter?
Yes.
Was the interview on May 14 recorded?
Yes.
Did you listen to the recording of that tape, of that meeting rather?
At some point, yes, I did.
And was there a transcript prepared from that recording?
Yes.
And is that was in exhibit number 9, which you just mentioned earlier?
Yes, it is.
After you received the transcript of the recording, did you compare the recording to the transcript?
I did.
And what did you find?
It was accurate. I think I found one word where the transcript, I believe, I can't recall what it was, but it was spelled wrong, and I thought there's no way that that's what was stated, and it was just how it came out on audio, I believe.
But otherwise, no mistakes?
No, not that I could find.
We'll come to the substance of that in a few minutes. So we're going to talk now about what's contained in charge number 1, which is the partisan political campaign.
Sure.
With respect to his participation in it. When did you first become aware that Mr. Stewart had participated in the campaign materials?
It was in April.
Is a state representative position a partisan political office?
It is.
How do you know that?
Well, you have to, in our state, you have to declare what political affiliation you're with. Normally, it's either a Republican or Democrat. Sometimes it can be an independent. That's partisan.
Are township trustees a partisan political position?
They are not.
How do you know that?
They do not declare a political party affiliation.
Does this township or others, to your knowledge, take positions on partisan issues and partisan office holders?
No, not that I'm aware of.
So the materials were you provided materials when you began your investigation?
Yes.
And from whom did you receive those materials?
Multiple sources. Some I found on my own. Some were duplicates. Again, in a normal political campaign that anyone would expect to occur, candidates can buy ads. They can, send out ads however they so choose in a variety of ways. Mailers. I don't recall ever seeing a mailer, but I do recall seeing a door hanger at some point with Trustee Davis and Mr. Stewart on it, and then multiple social media, Facebook posts, including some videos.
For the purpose of just identifying where in the book it is for now, but we're going to go past it. What is Joint Exhibit 10 for the record, please? You explain it to the audience.
That's the executive summary of the investigative interview that I had with him on May 14th.
What is the date on that?
May 14th, 2026.
Did you prepare this after interviewing Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Let's now go to some of the materials that you were looking at. And the first would be Joint Exhibit number 12. Can you bring that up? So I'm going to ask you if you look at the screen and tell us if this is what you refer to as the campaign advertisement video.
I don't have a 12, but
it's
gotcha. I'm sorry.
Got some. She's much more technological.
Weslyn Davis doesn't pick easy fights. She takes on the ones that matter. Property taxes, data centers. While her opponent took their money, Weslyn Davis took a stand. She's fighting for the home front, stopping tax hikes and out-of-control spending. Because when costs go up, we pay the price. Some took the deal, Weslyn Davis took a stand. Conservative Republican. Davis delivers.
I'm going to ask Ms. Seifert to also play the next campaign video, which is Joint Exhibit number 13, and then ask you some questions about these collectively.
Data center groups, solar farm supporters, DC dark money. They're all banking on Ben Weber. They can't buy your vote, so they bought his. Ben Weber sold you out. Now he's lying about Weslyn Davis. Because Weslyn Davis takes on the tough fights. First to freeze data centers, she's taking on special interests, standing against tax hikes and fighting for the home front. Endorsed by law enforcement, firefighters, and pro-life leaders. Conservative Republican, Davis delivers.
Apologize, there's 3 videos.
Weslyn Davis is the conservative champion Columbus needs. She will continue to fight for a bolder Ohio, bringing common sense values and strong leadership to the State House. On May 5th, vote Weslyn Davis for State Representative.
Did you recognize Mr. Stewart in each of those?
Yes, I did.
Was he in uniform?
Yes.
Was he in front of fire trucks?
Yes.
Where were those fire trucks located?
Station 211.
Where is Station 211 located?
On Ewing Drive, right up here in our township, right off of 42.
Did Mr. Stewart ever approach you for permission to take a partisan political, take advertisements, to have be videographed for partisan political advertising?
No.
Did the candidate ever ask?
No.
Was there ever anything in writing back and forth from the Board of Trustees to, or from Mr. Stewart regarding permission for these ads?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you know when, did you ask Mr. Stewart when these ads were recorded?
I did.
And what was his response?
I believe he said a while ago, and I don't think he knew an exact date or anything.
Did he admit to you in the interview that this is him, that he is in these videos? And
he admitted to being in videos, yes.
And being in the videos as well as the
yes.
uniform in front of the fire trucks?
Yes.
Were there any other firefighters or any other personnel of the township in any of these videos?
No, not that I could see.
So let's go to exhibit number 15, if we may, please, which is tab date stamp 262. Did you show those? By the way, did you show those videos to Mr. Stewart?
I don't. I think I did in part. Yes.
Okay, but he never challenged those.
No.
And for the record, they're joint exhibits here tonight. Joint exhibit 15. Did you review this one, Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Did he admit that that's his picture in a partisan political ad?
Yes. Yeah, he admitted that that's his picture. I don't think he admitted that it was a partisan political ad.
How do we know that this ad is for a partisan political office?
It says it right there that Wesleyan Davis for state representative, and that's a partisan position.
Okay, but it doesn't identify a party.
That's correct.
Is there much doubt that this is a partisan political campaign?
Not at all.
Did Mr. Stewart ever raise the question whether or not it was a partisan political campaign?
No.
Now, if we can just quickly identify, we'll walk through these again. Date stamp 263. Is that Mr. Stewart?
It is.
Exhibit joint 16, date stamp 263.
Yes.
And again, is that a fire truck of the department? Do you know?
It is.
Did you ask Mr. Stewart if this was a fire truck that owned by the department?
I don't recall asking that specific question.
Now, if we may go to joint exhibit 17. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
Did you review this and the previous documents in your investigation?
Yes.
Review those with Mr. Stewart in his...
I don't remember reviewing this one with Mr. Stewart, no.
And when did you secure this document?
It had to be after, probably after I interviewed him. I don't think I was aware of this one until after the interview.
And is Mr. Stewart in this picture?
Yes.
What color shirt is he wearing?
Light blue.
Second from the right?
Yes.
And who is that in the middle?
Wesleyan Davis.
Okay, so this is a casual gathering outside of the fire department, as you can see.
That's what it appears, yes.
And are these members of the public?
Yes.
In just a second.
Okay.
On this, and I have to have some technical help from someone who understands a little bit more. There's a column to the right. Materials written apparently by Ms. Davis. But at the bottom of it, right above the thumbs up, it says, with Douglas Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Did you, when you opened this, did you click on that with Douglas Stewart?
I don't recall clicking on that.
Do you know if you click on a name, if it's in a body of an email, or sorry, a posting like this, it'll open up that individual's?
It will. Yeah.
How do you know that?
I've done it on other postings.
Same question, general for joint exhibit 18, date stamp 265. Is this one of the other items that you reviewed
Yes.
with respect to charge 1?
Yes.
And again, that's Chief Stewart.
Yes.
Joint 19, sir. Did you review this document in preparation of charge number 1?
Yes.
And how do we know this is connected to Mr. Stewart?
It says Mr. and Mrs. Chief Douglas Stewart in the
Where's
second
this?
column.
In the second column, in the red box?
Yes.
Okay. Next one is joint 20. Did you review this document in preparation of the investigation report?
Yes.
Did you review this prior to the interview?
Yes.
With Mr. Davis? I'm sorry, with Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
And is that his picture in here?
It is.
Did he admit to this?
Yes, he admits that his picture was in there, yes.
And so let's look at what it says right above the Stewart endorses.
Yes.
You understand that to be Mr. Stewart? Fire Chief Stewart?
Correct.
And what does it say there? Respectfully, go on from there.
Douglas Stewart, resident, veteran, first responder, father, grandfather, husband, taxpayer.
And what are the next 2 words after that?
C less.
Okay. That's probably a prompt on the
Yes, yes.
He's in his capacity, he believes that he was in his capacity as a fire chief when we posted this, or when this was posted?
Can you repeat
Was,
that?
was he in uniform in front of the fire truck again in this incident?
Yeah, although it appeared to me that this was just a crop photo of one of the other photos that had been already posted that you've already shared. That's what it looked like to me.
Comparing the crop photo in Exhibit J20 with the photo in J16, if you hold the finger on J20 and look at J16.
Correct. That's what I think
That's what
it
you
is.
concluded?
Yeah, that's what I think it is. It's a crop photo.
We need to go through just a few more, and then we'll come to some other questions. Joint Exhibit 21, referenced as door hangers. Do you recognize Joint 21?
Yes.
And what does it say with respect to where in here do we find Mr. Stewart?
He is pictured. It looks like a stack of door hangers that are part of the campaign, and he is on one side of those.
Okay. And
It's
again,
the same photo.
That looks like one of the previous photos that we had?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Number 22, Joint 22, Big Stamp 270. Do you recognize the location of this picture?
Yes.
Where is it?
Station 211.
What does that appear to be on the right side?
A fire engine.
Is that the political candidate in the middle?
It is.
And is that Mr. Stewart on the left?
Yes.
And are there any references to Chief Stewart in the dialogue to the right?
Yes. Same type of thing. It says, I think it's just her thanking him, and then it says with Douglas Stewart there again.
Okay. And again, if you had clicked on that, where would that have taken you?
His Facebook page.
And I think we can wrap up the pictures with one that's not of Mr. Stewart, but exhibit number 23. Where's Mr. Stewart on this one?
This is his Facebook post where he's just sharing an article that was written, sharing some information about the other candidate, and it just says, interesting, vote Wesleyan Davis for state representative.
After reviewing campaign materials and interviewing Mr. Stewart, did you identify any township or fire policies that you believe were implicated or violated by his conduct?
I did.
Now I'm going to ask you to go back to what is Joint Exhibit 3. And I'll walk you through these. And this is where you can keep the charges to one side of that.
Okay.
We'll go through these. You listed in the charges that specifically Chief Stewart, in the middle of the page of what is 001, identified the factual statements. Is there anything you want to add to the statements, the factual statements that are contained there in the middle of this?
No.
You indicate that you interviewed him on May 14, that he acknowledged participating. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Is the statements in paragraph at the bottom of the page accurate?
Yes.
You drew some conclusions on this, beginning at the top of page 002. What is your first conclusion there?
That his participation, that he participated in Parsons' political campaign.
And misuse of official authority?
Yes.
Township
Township resources, township identity, and official position.
So let's go to the policies now. You list policy number 15.9.
Yes.
We'll find a page for that in a moment. And it is page 051. You see that?
Yes.
And how did his conduct violate this policy?
Yeah, this policy has prohibited political activity. This is the township's policy.
And the first bullet point says that prohibited political activity includes the following, and so I think there's 7 or 8 bullet points here. Number 1 is use official authority or influence for the purpose of interfering with an election or nomination to office or affecting the results thereof. Bullet point, I believe number 3, take any action, including an active part in a political campaign or an office in a political party, which will place the township in a partisan position and interfere with the employee's ability to perform the duties of their position. Number 5, I guess, campaign by writing publications, by distributing political material, or by making speeches on behalf of or against a candidate for elective office during work hours, which he's in uniform, he's in the fire station. Anytime that's the case that I've ever seen him, he's working, so I assumed he was working. And then last one, let me read this quickly. Well, no, the last one did not apply. That had to do with involvement if that any political talk would be in a newsletter. I never saw that there was any newsletter.
Section 15.10 follows that. You have it listed in your list as allowable political activities. Why did you include what's allowable in this statement of charges?
Well, the handbook pretty much spells out what you can and cannot do, and so 15.10 is allowable, and so therefore he went against what was allowable, and it just says employees may join or affiliate with civic organizations of a partisan or political nature, serve as a precinct election officials, give financial contributions to political candidates and organizations, circulate petitions on legislation relating to their employment, attend political meetings, vote and advocate or support the principles or policies of civic or political organizations.
I know it's in a later chart, but we're going to address it for a real quick question and come back and cross-reference it later. Is there anything in here in what is allowable under section 15.10 which would have allowed Mr. Stewart to belong to the central committee of a partisan political party?
No, not that I can find.
Let's go on with 15.14, again still on page 052.
Yes.
Please identify why you believe there was a violation by Mr. Stewart of policy 15.14.
Because of primarily the first sentence, it says the use of township equipment, uniforms, or supplies for personal business or private use is strictly prohibited without permission of the department head and or the board of trustees.
Again, was there any permission requested or granted for Mr. Stewart to utilize any of these facilities?
Not through the chain of command, no.
Let's look at, now we're going to switch to exhibit number 4, which is the fire code of conduct, firefighter code of conduct.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to look at 201. Just say, get your correct page number. 201.2 on page 082. You see that, sir?
Sorry, on what was the page? What was
the 082, it's 201.2.
Okay, got it.
You see that. How did Mr. Stewart's conduct violate the policy that he wrote?
This is the firefighter code of conduct and ethics, and it's titled General Code of Conduct. And B specifically states conduct themselves on and off duty in a manner that reflects positively on themselves, the division, the township, and the fire service. C says support the concept of fairness and the value of diverse thoughts and opinions. And I felt that that's a violation.
How is it that his conduct by appearing in partisan political ads and engaging in partisan political activity by being on a central committee not reflect positively on themselves, the division of the township?
Because, as in what happened in this case, the actions that he did violated this, and then therefore places potentially the township
the fire service as a whole, the division of the people that he represents, in a very, very difficult situation by getting into a political campaign, and because therefore he's speaking, or of course he has First Amendment rights. We're not talking about that. This is his relationship as a fire chief to the staff and the policies, and this clearly put the position of the staff and himself and the township into a bind that did not need to happen.
201.8, page 083. How did Mr. Stewart's conduct violate this particular code of ethics, code of conduct and ethics?
Right. A says avoids situations that would adversely affect the credibility or public perception of the division, the township, or the fire service. And I felt, there was, not just Miss Davis, not Mr. Weber. I believe there was at least one other candidate that was in this election cycle. We don't know who their voters and supporters are. We can't control that. And so this was more of an obvious violation to me, that by him getting involved in a partisan campaign, he really, really put the rest of the community and the board and myself and his staff into a situation that we did not need to be in. Further, B says recognize that they serve in a position of public trust that requires stewardship and the honest and efficient use of publicly owned resources, including uniforms, facilities, vehicles, and equipment. He used those. And then C just says they shall protect publicly owned assets from misuse and theft.
Again, back to the adverse potential that would or adversely affect the credibility or public persuasion of the division, the township, or the fire service. The conduct supporting the partisan political candidate potentially impact a tax levy.
Yes.
How?
Well, if the person that you come out and support is I don't know, it could go either way, I suppose. I suppose if you support this person and and they get elected, and the majority of the voters in your township supported that candidate, then okay, that could be good. But if the person that you're supporting does not get elected, and the community looks at that and says, well, you tainted the campaign, and their perception is, well, you wanted that person, we don't. So that could really work against a levy.
Let's go on then to 201.9 on that same page, 083. How did Mr. Stewart's conduct violate this policy?
It's conflicts of interest, and it says conduct personal affairs in a manner that does not improperly influence the performance of their duties or bring discredit to the division, the township, or the fire service. And I believe that his conduct did.
And how?
Well, again, he, in his own personal affairs, while acting as the fire chief and in that capacity as a fire chief, clearly through the ads and the videos, it easily put us into a bind. And some in the community, from what I had heard from some, felt that his conduct was as if the entire board had singled out one candidate on behalf of all voters in the township. That was one person's talk to me. So, that's why this is not prohibited. Or I'm sorry, that's why this is not allowed.
Did candidates express to you, did members of the citizens of the community, express to you concerns about Mr. Davis's partisan political activity?
Can you restate it?
Did the citizens of the community, residents of the township, express any concerns to you about Mr. Stewart appearing in partisan political acts?
Oh, yes.
And what was their reaction to you, that they expressed to you?
Well, it made them feel as though, I don't know that they would have come up with legal words, but most just described it as that they felt very uncomfortable that our fire department was engaging, and especially our fire chief was engaging in a campaign when it wasn't necessary. It just wasn't necessary.
Let's move on to 201.13 and on page 084. How did Mr. Stewart's conduct violate this section?
201, what is it?
.13 on page.
Okay, sorry.
60.
Yeah, that's social networking, which is his policy. And it just states that A says shall have responsible use of social networking, electronic communications, or other social media technologies, and use them in a manner that does not discredit, dishonor, or embarrass the division, the township, the fire service, or the public. B states shall not make posts to social media that are in conflict with division and/or township rules and policies. And C shall not make posts to social media voicing disagreement with policies or practices of the division and/or the township. And
how did his conduct violate this policy?
He's against township policy, and so therefore he's in violation of his own policy.
So let's roll back just to 201.11. On that page 083.
Yes.
At the bottom. What is 201.11?
Political activity.
Read it, please, for the record.
A states shall not campaign for or against any person running for political office while on duty, while representing the division or township, or while in uniform, and he did that.
Do you interpret appearing in uniform, a township uniform, a fire uniform, in a fire station in front of a fire truck as campaigning for a candidate?
100%.
Couple more in the policies here, if you will, please. 205.1. Let me get your page number. It would be on page number 093.
Yes.
And what is 205.1 and how did Mr. Stewart violate that?
This is titled Equipment Use Policy. The purpose states that this policy outlines the process for all personnel to follow regarding equipment use outside the department. This policy further outlines the responsibility of members using division equipment. The scope states all members of the Jerome Township Division of Fire shall adhere to this policy. And it states that the impact is on a low frequency basis, but can have a high impact on the overall operations of the department if equipment is damaged or destroyed. 205.1 is the policy itself, which states that number one, all division members can request to use division equipment outside of division operations, and number two, division members are not guaranteed the use of equipment outside of the division.
What kind of requests are there for use of fire equipment?
I have no knowledge of any of that. I suppose there could be a request internally.
Parades, maybe?
Correct, could be.
Was there a request by Mr. Stewart to use the backdrop of the fire engines for those political
Not
acts?
through the chain of command, no.
In the policies and procedures for the fire department is policy 401.2, which is on page 128.
Okay.
In there is number 5.
Yes.
Violation for inappropriate use of equipment. These are standards of examples of violations for members of the fire department, am I correct?
Yes.
And do these, in your understanding, apply also to fire chief?
It says all employees, yes, all members.
And he's considered a member of the fire department?
Yes, he is.
Let's now move to charge number 2, please. On your big stamp to your right in front of you, on big stamp 2, page 002.
Right. Did we discuss 104.1? I saw that at the top of the page. I don't recall going over that.
104.1, I believe we did, but let me double check.
I want to make sure that's on the record. I don't recall being asked.
So let's ask. 104.1, you're right, it's on page 076, my apologies.
No, you're fine, yes.
What is item number 4, 104.1?
104.1 is the chain of command policy inside the fire division.
And what does it state with respect to the fire chief?
That he is the chief executive officer and authority having jurisdiction for the fire division, who was appointed by the Board of Trustees. It states where his authority comes from in the Ohio Revised Code. It states that he manages all day-to-day operations of the fire division, maintains fiscal accountability. He's responsible for the safety of himself and or herself and all fire division members and the public. Responsible for implementing and enforcing township and fire division policies and procedures. Adhere to established local, state, and federal laws. Be accountable to and report to the township administrator, the Board of Trustees, and the residents of Jerome Township, and more.
And then behind there is on page 079, just quickly identify what that is.
079 is the organizational chart for the fire division.
And who signed that at the bottom?
Chief Stewart did on November 7th, 2022.
Thank you for reminding me. Did we go
Sure.
then to charge number 2 on the statement of charges you have there? What is charge number 2? And then we'll go through the support for the charge.
Charge 2 is improper participation in a partisan political party governance.
And what are you referring to there?
That he is a member of the Union County Republican Central Committee for his township where he resides.
Again, we're going down through the policy violations that you have there. During your interview with him, did Mr. Stewart acknowledge participation in a partisan political party organization?
He acknowledged that he is a member of the Union County Republican Central Committee, yes.
And when was that first brought to your attention that he was a member of the committee?
I don't recall ever knowing it until this investigation started.
15.9 of the township policy, which is, I get to you, with you. I think we discussed this earlier.
I've got it.
Actually, all we really need to do now is for you to identify, as we walk through the policies, all the conduct in being a member of the Central Committee violated 15.9.
Right. So again, by being a member of that committee and being a member of a partisan group as our fire chief presents several layers of problems, and it's prohibited under our policies.
Is membership on membership in a partisan political central committee permissible under 15.10?
It says employees may join or affiliate with civic organizations of a partisan or political nature, serve as a precinct election official, give financial contributions to political candidates and organizations, circulate petitions. Yes.
Is a central committee a civic organization?
No, I don't believe so.
But it says a civic organization of a partisan or political nature.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
How does it differ with Mr. Stewart's participation and involvement with the Central Committee?
It differs because he is a township fire chief.
And was he elected to the Central Committee?
Yes.
So it's different, in your opinion, is it different from participating as opposed to being elected to a partisan political organization?
I think there is a difference.
And what is that difference, sir?
I think when you begin to act in a partisan way as the township fire chief, it begins to directly impact violations of our policy and handbook and his own.
And we're going to walk through again, briefly identify why the conduct that charge number 2 violates various fire department policies, first of which that you identified was 201.2, which is located on page 082. How does his conduct participating in a partisan political organization violate 201.2?
So again, as a reminder, that's under General Code of Conduct, and the
B states conduct themselves on and off duty in a manner that reflects positively on themselves, the division, the township, and the fire service. C states support the concept of fairness and the value of diverse thoughts and opinions. And so those, I believe, were violated in this case because even though I would assume, to my knowledge, he's never showed up at a Union County Republican Central Committee meeting on duty. I've never, that's not any part of this. That could have direct impact on this policy.
But membership in the committee does create a violation of the policy.
Yes.
201.8 is the next one on your list. Please explain how that was violated.
I think more than anything on this one, B states that recognize that they serve in a position of public trust that requires stewardship and the honest and efficient use of publicly owned resources, including uniforms, facilities, vehicles, and equipment. And so, while I believe during the interview, Chief Stewart and I spent quite a bit of time discussing this, at the end of the day, my job is to determine whether or not, my job is very clear cut here. There's either violations of it or there is not. I don't try to weigh in with my own personal opinions. I don't try to do anything. I'm looking specifically at the facts as presented to me. And when I was reviewing his agency's policies, I have no choice but to treat those the same as the township's policies. And in this case here, I believe it, by his participation in the Republican Central Committee, when he is being tasked with political decisions that can impact outcomes, and as our fire chief, he's in violation.
201.9, same question.
201.9, it says conduct personal affairs in a manner that does not improperly influence the performance of their duties and bring discredit to the division, the township, or the fire service. And in this case, again, as our fire chief, if you are actively involved in a partisan campaign for one candidate, then that leaves everybody else that's running for that same office in question as to where the loyalties and the commitments are from our township, which puts us in a bind. It's definitely a conflict of interest.
Does the same conflict exist if you're a member of a central committee of a partisan political
Yes.
party?
Yes.
201.11, same question.
Shall not campaign for or against any person running for political office while on duty, while representing a division or township, or while in uniform. And because he admits to being a member of the Union County Republican Central Committee, and he was in uniform, clearly endorsing, clearly campaigning, he's in violation of this policy.
Is there a crossover between participation on the committee and an endorsement of a candidate?
Is there Yes.
How so?
If you're a member of the Central Committee, while I am not an expert on Central Committee's duties and responsibilities, if he is coming out as he's on that committee, he's elected to that committee, representing his township, and then he comes out and endorses a candidate, then that is the crossover.
The appearing in pictures, ads, and being on a central committee, in your mind, does that constitute an endorsement for a particular candidate?
If those ads and social media and everything else combined that we've already discussed, if those are pointing back towards one candidate, absolutely.
Last question for this charge, I think it is the last question, yeah it is. Just a cross-reference again to the penalties for violations of the policies, which is in fire department regulation, or rule rather 401.2, which is on page 129.
Yes.
Is this a violation of the policy as well, and so therefore it would be subject to discipline under the policies of the department?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on now to charge number 3. Will you explain what charge number 3 is?
Charge 3 is unauthorized use of official position, township resources, and official authority in communications with Amazon Web Services.
And in what way did Mr. Stewart engage in this conduct that's listed here?
So the reason, I think it's important to note that the reason that this was reviewed at all was because of the video that I found in which Chief Stewart appears in, and as I slowed it down and watched it, it was clearly scripted that he be in the video while the words data centers were mentioned.
You mean the video with the television ad for the political candidate?
Yeah, or the Facebook ad, yes.
Very good, keep going.
And so that's when I began thinking back, looking back, what other matters have come to my attention as far as conduct of the chief, and this was an obvious, glaring thing that I was aware of in July, around the time of later in 2025 is when I became aware of it, and so.
When you became aware of what?
He had written a letter to Amazon.
So the letter's of July 25.
Yes.
But the ads that reflect his support or agreement with the candidate were in spring of 2026.
Correct.
Just trying to get the time frame.
That's correct.
So the letter indicates, you said here in your report, on or about July 18, transmittable multi-page letter. Let's look at exhibit number 24 first. Is this the letter?
Yeah, that's a copy of it, correct.
Okay. And without going into specifics of this, throughout this letter was Mr. Stewart critical of conduct by this company?
Yes.
And in what way?
He listed and made direct, facts of that our fire service frequently responds to calls there at this time, and that in essence it's a high call volume to these facilities, and that he was encouraging them to, I believe the intent here was to be, quote, good neighbors. He refers to 2 different companies in our area, in the township, that he felt were good neighbors. They had provided the fire division in one instance with large amounts of money to make improvements and to buy equipment, and that he was basically insinuating that because of the high call volume, Amazon had not paid their fair share because of an agreement here, and that he was pretty much demanding that that's what they do.
Was he authorized to write this letter?
Not by me.
In the letter, in the middle of your page there, you said specific to Chief Stewart, you raised a number of bullet points. Those were your findings as to the critical comments made by Mr. Stewart in this letter.
Did I find this conduct?
Is that a summary of your findings?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And below that, did he acknowledge authoring and transmitting this?
Yes.
Did he admit that it was in his official capacity?
Yes.
And did he identify that he was familiar with township policies regarding speaking on behalf of the township?
During my interview, yes.
And what did he admit to there?
That he was aware of it, yes. That he had received permission from, I believe it was Trustee Davis at the time that gave him permission.
Does a single trustee have the authority to authorize a member of a department head to act on behalf of the township in statements such as this?
No.
Why not?
Well, for obvious reasons, the other 2 would not be aware, and in this case, I was not aware. So it leaves us holding whatever outcomes come out of that letter.
How does the board act with respect to making a decision on policy matters?
Normally it's done right here in this room at a
And
meeting.
does it take a vote of the full board?
It does,
Why?
because each would have a vote, each would have a say.
Does any board member in particular, this board, previous board, or as I understand, one gentleman with 40 years of board experience, which is a long time, can any board member speak for the full board independent of the knowledge and permission and the authorization of the other board members?
I don't believe so, and I've never heard of it, no.
And so your finding at the bottom of this was, oh, by the way, was Mr. Stewart counsel regarding this?
He was.
And when was he counseled?
I recall sending him an email advising him that I thought his comments, well, first of all, not through us, not through the proper channels, and that he was not to communicate with AWS, again, without my permission.
Did he acknowledge in your interview with him that he had received a verbal counseling regarding the comments that were in this exhibit?
I believe so, but without backtracking, I can't sit here for sure, but I think he did, yes.
And the conduct, what conduct occurred after the letter?
I became aware through a board member that they had found that he had been interviewed or made comments to a local area newspaper twice after this regarding data centers.
Wait a second. Do you recall there being any newspaper articles to that end?
Yes.
And where were those?
In the Columbus Dispatch.
And was Mr. Stewart in those?
He's quoted in it, yes.
Is there a picture of him in that?
I don't recall seeing his photo in there that I can recall. Could have been.
Chairman, we have several additional documents which were not submitted for joint stipulations. I'll first hand a copy to council. And next hand a copy to the witness so he can start looking at it.
Okay.
There's going to be 3 additional exhibits. These are listed as Exhibit 4. Please understand that these are Township Exhibit numbers 4. The next one will be 5, and the one after that will be 6. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Thank you.
Number 6. You have your copy, sir? 4, 5, and 6?
I have 4 and 5.
I'll deal with you number 6.
Okay.
Can you identify these 3 documents, exhibits, township exhibits 4, 5, and 6.
Yes,
Tell
exhibit,
tell the board what these are.
sure, exhibit 4 is a Columbus Dispatch article that's titled "No More Data Centers, Ohio Township Pushes Back Against Influx of Amazon
Okay.
and Others."
Is Mr. Stewart in this?
He is quoted, yes.
Okay, and is there reference to him in his capacity as a fire chief for the Township of Jerome?
Yes.
On what page were you looking at here, sir?
Of this, of exhibit 4, I'm on the 3rd page.
In the bottom right-hand corner, does it say page 3 of 16?
Yes.
And this is only 4 of the 16 pages. The references that you're referring to are on page 3,
Yes.
and it ends at that point. Is that correct?
Yes.
Same questions, exhibit number 5, sir.
It's a Columbus Dispatch article titled "Columbus Area Township Officials Bemoan Data Center Drain on Emergency Response Resources."
Okay, and where in exhibit 5 of the township does Mr. Stewart's name appear?
Looks like on page 3.
Which marks 3 of 5 in the bottom?
Yes.
And in the last paragraph, does it identify Chief Stewart?
Correct.
And does it say there's no value added to our community from Amazon Web Services and will continue to be a drain on local and regional resources every day?
Yes.
And what is the date on this?
This is dated September 24th, 2025. The first one was dated September 8th, 2025.
Were you aware of these before you began your investigation?
Yes.
And when did you become aware of these before your investigation?
It was shortly, the board at that time, if I recall, had voted to do a moratorium, and we were keenly monitoring and helping. We had multiple media folks reaching out for interviews and so on, so we were following, articles as closely as we could. And at some point, I became aware that Chief Stewart, I did not see these personally first. It was brought to my attention.
Last one, Exhibit 6. What is that, sir?
This is an article in the Marysville Journal Tribune.
Date?
Dated February 7th of 2026.
And article in here contained the picture of Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Below the picture of Mr. Stewart, by the way, is he in uniform?
No.
Civilian clothes?
Yes.
And what's the first line in the picture below?
Jerome Fire Chief Doug Stewart.
So he's known to the media, and therefore most residents of the county, as the fire chief of Jerome Township. Is that what you understood this to mean?
That's correct.
Did he make comments regarding the data, the warehouse, the AWS warehouse?
He did.
And where, can you point it out in this article? I'm sorry, the print is really small.
I mean, probably not on this font, but what I recall of it is that this is a meeting where he called, well, actually I can read it. Right there in the center, right before it says, "Please see data" on page 2. He is quoted there. He's talking to a group of trustees. I believe it was the Union County Township Association meeting. And he makes some comments. He calls them bullies. They will bully you. They will bully everybody.
And who's they?
The data centers.
Were these documents that you considered with respect to the assembly of the charges regarding charge number 3?
Yes.
Real quickly, is there a point on the back page of the data center I'm directing your attention to? What is the box in the middle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th paragraph, and it says, and the next to the last paragraph in the article, what does it say?
Speaking on behalf of the Jerome Fire Department, Stewart argued that he would take CAUV over data center development, quote, any day of the week, end quote, because it is not a strain on emergency services.
Did Mr. Stewart raise this at all during his interview with you?
No.
Did he ever deny that he made these comments?
No.
How do you take a comment that's made in February 2026 regarding the comment that's made in the first page of Exhibit 6 and the second page of Exhibit 6?
I'm not sure I understand.
Do those violate the standards of conduct
Oh,
for the fire chief?
oh yeah,
of
absolutely.
Township?
I mean, I think that as I recall back in my interview, and when speaking with Mr. Stewart at some point regarding this, I recall there being a brief discussion that, you know, he wasn't in uniform and that he attempted to differentiate while he was talking, that I'm talking now as the Jerome Township Fire Chief or a fire chief, and now I'm talking as a resident of the county. And so I'm not sure that that is possible to differentiate when everybody in the room knows what he does for a living.
And the newspaper identified him at least twice as the fire
Yes.
chief of Jerome Township.
Correct.
So let's go to the list of violations for charge number 3, which are at the top of page 004. And we don't need to go into great detail since you identified a number of these, but the first one that's listed is Jerome Township Policy 15.14. And again, this is in exhibit number 3. As I flip pages, I'll get you a number. 15.9, sir, appears on .051.
Correct. Are we looking at 15.9 or 15.14?
15.14 on page 052.
Got it.
Thank you.
And that is the use and operation of township equipment. And in this case, the use of township equipment, uniforms, and supplies for personal business, private use strictly prohibited without prior permission of the department head. Violators are subject. Such equipment includes, but is not limited to, office and telecommunications equipment, computers, automobiles, trucks, tools, uniforms, and supplies.
And how did he violate that policy in charge 3?
He used the official letterhead of the fire division to write the letter on.
That was the letter was in July.
That's correct.
How does that relate to violation in 2026, a year, less than a year later?
Because it's a well, first it's an ongoing pattern of conduct that got opened back up again, basically by the actions of the campaign, and then in looking back over this and tying it back to the campaign videos and information, data centers were frequently mentioned.
And so now we're going to turn to the Firefighter Code of Ethics, which is 104.1. And did you find that this is a violation? It's on page 076. Did you find this policy violated in the conduct in charge number 3?
Yes.
How?
He never informed me of the letter, and I believe that after it just.
Let me ask you a question, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman. If he had not reignited the controversy, would there have been a violation solely based on the conduct of writing a letter in July of 2025?
I don't think so. I mean,
And so it's been reignited by his conduct, is that what you're
Correct.
saying? 201.2, General Code of Conduct, was that also violated? on the policies of the fire department, which is on page 082.
Yes, I believe that his comments, whether or not he was officially speaking as our chief or not, he was standing at a public meeting, referred to himself and on speaking on behalf of the fire service, talking to the trustees. You know, again, there's a way to have approached this and a way not to have approached it. And I think when you go down the line of name calling and throwing insults, no matter what your personal opinion is of a local business, you've crossed a line. And that's what this is a violation of conduct.
And he crossed that line because the position of trust and authority that he has?
That's correct.
Firefighter Code 201.9, same page.
8 or 9?
Oh, 8 and then 9 as well, if you
Sure.
address those collectively.
So, A, avoiding situations that would adversely affect the credibility or public perception of the division, the township, or the fire service. I think that if you're an Amazon employee, doesn't matter what your role is in the company, and you see this out in public, I think it quickly, they could even be a resident here, it could quickly bring disparagement to the entire township local government, that our fire chief has made public comments calling them bullies. And you know, Chief and I have talked a number of times about his frustrations regarding data centers, and he has legitimate concerns that we have tried to work on, and we have done that. This board, the past board, we've all attempted to do that, and we've made a lot of progress. So, but in this case, his comments were out of line.
Was Mr. Stewart ever authorized or instructed to give opinions in the public about data centers?
I never gave him that
Do
permission.
you know if the board ever gave him permission?
Not to my knowledge.
Did he ever indicate to you in the investigation that he had been given permission to present opinions regarding data centers? Did he indicate that to you in your interview?
No, not in the interview. The only thing I can remember would be the residents here totally understand this, that the board, myself, Chief Stewart, our zoning inspector, we have all been very much involved in the review of data center activity overall. And whether that's in looking at noise violations or concerns, whether that's lighting, safety, which is primarily where the chief had been focused, rightfully so. And in that, I do recall at some point the board directing him to continue to work with myself and Amazon to work through any safety concerns that we had, and that's what we attempted to do.
Was he addressing safety concerns or policy matters in his speech that he gave that's in the articles?
I mean, he could have. I was not at this meeting.
Okay, very good. Let's go on then to the next item on the list, which you have is 201.13, social networking. Again, as that relates to charge number 3, how was the policy of 201.13 violated?
That there is, he has made other public comments about data centers on his own social media accounts.
And then the 205.1 equipment use, again, that is on page, reference to the record, 093. How is his conduct with alleged in charge 3 violate 205.1?
Yes, that, you know, he didn't request, I don't remember anything about him using or requesting to write this letter. I know that, you know, at some point I was informed that that Trustee Davis had reviewed the letter before he sent it.
Okay. Did Trustee Davis indicate any of that to you or to any other board members to your knowledge?
Not until it was already from me through to the board, which would have been, she was still a trustee at that time when I found out.
Did she inform you that she had instructed or given permission to Mr. Stewart to write the letter?
Correct, she did. She phoned me.
Do you know if it was approved by the other board members?
It was clearly not approved by the other board or a board vote at all.
And again, finally, also the violations that are cited in the firefighter code of ethics are subject to discipline under section 401.2.
Yes.
Okay. So let's shift over to the unprofessional conduct and insubordination charge number 4. We described for the record briefly what that is.
Yes, we had a scheduled meeting. He was on paid administrative leave at this time since May 2nd, and my duty that day was to go over and present to him the separation agreement. Within seconds of me handing it, which was separate, they weren't paper clipped or anything, I handed him those sheets of paper. He proceeded to throw them across the table at me. They each went their own direction, and
Piece of paper?
The sheets of paper, yes.
Okay. And approximately how many sheets of paper were there?
Probably 3 or 4.
Okay. And then did he make any statements to you that you attributed to his conduct there?
Well, he's clearly upset and said that don't try to bluff me. This is bullshit. I'm not going to resign just so Joe Kraft, Barry Adler, Andrea Watson, and you can save your bacon. He repeatedly accused me of dishonesty, stating that I sat there and had lied to him, and he repeated that.
Policy violations you list include policy number 401 of the township, which is on page 029. Did you find this to be insubordinate conduct that's listed on page
Yes.
1? Any other violations in 4.1 that describe his conduct?
I suppose the last bullet point on page 29, any violation of township work rules as well.
Okay.
Regulations or standard operating procedures. Yes.
Then policy 15.3 of the township, which is listed as character and workplace conduct. And that 15.3 is on page 045. How did you violate this policy, or how does this constitute a violation?
Says that under character in the workplace on page 047, each employee should be held accountable for their personal appearance, friendly, courteous, and helpful attitude toward the public, loyalty to the township, and willingness to cooperate with their supervisors and fellow employees. Improper language is in extremely poor taste and displays an unsatisfactory attitude.
Okay.
And he did that.
In The firefighter code of conduct, obviously we hit 104, I'm going to go to 104.4, and that's in tab number 4. You see that, sir?
Almost.
Okay. Then number 4.
You said
Go
10
back, same question.
104.1?
Yes, sir. That's what you have listed.
Yep, I'm there
104.1,
now.
item 4.
I'm there now, yes.
Page number?
076 is where I'm at.
And item number 4 under 101.4, or 104.1, item 4.
That he's accountable to and report to the township administrator, the board of trustees, and the residents of the township. And by his conduct, he was not.
And then the next one is 201.2 of the general code of conduct. How does his conduct violate 201.2? Which is on page 082.
Conduct themselves on and off duty in a manner that reflects positively on themselves, the division, the township, and the fire service.
So the insubordinate conduct violated this standard?
Yes.
Last one is 401.2, corrective action under the standards of the fire department. Examples of violations.
Correct. Number 9 talks about insubordination.
Yep.
And also just number 10, failing to satisfactorily perform his assigned duties as chief.
And what would those assigned duties be as chief if they failed to properly perform?
That he's accountable to us, and there's respect involved there, and there was clearly none then. And number page 129, discourteous or unprofessional treatment of the public. Number 17, violating any township or division policy.
You have two sets of standards applied to Mr. Stewart. The general policy standards and the department standards as well. And you were just now on policy number 401, which speaks to corrective action for members of the fire. You were moments ago on types of corrective action on the township policies, which is 4.2, cross-reference to 030. Did you consider both of these standards of conduct and potential corrective action or discipline in part of your consideration for making recommendations?
Absolutely.
And how serious are these violations?
Extremely.
Why?
Well, when we, as in his role, he is the face of the fire department. He's the uniformed, in this case, we don't have a police agency, so he is the uniformed face of our township local government. And he is frequently seen in meetings and frequently around and you know, maintaining the you know, his staff and so on. And so when these were brought to my attention and I began to investigate it, I have no choice in this matter. And if this was someone that may be in their, I don't know, first, second year of service, I could have possibly entertained, you know, on maybe one or two of these, perhaps, you know, some other form of corrective action. But in this case, with multiple infractions that I found, and especially his conduct on June 8th, There's a total disrespect to this board. There's a total disrespect for me. And it became very, very obvious to me that this type of conduct cannot be condoned by anyone, first of all. And secondly, I don't know of anywhere else that anyone would work where this type of conduct would be permitted.
Let's talk a little bit about the time frame between May, June, and July. After your meeting with Mr. Stewart in middle of May, did you meet with him to provide an alternative option for Mr. Stewart?
I did.
And when was that presented to him?
On June 8th.
Was there a timeline within which he was to consider this option?
Yes, we were trying to be as fair as possible.
How much time was he given to?
I believe it might have been 10 days, 7 to 10 days.
If I can refresh your recollection by having you look at exhibit number 33. You see that document? Very last document in the tab.
Okay, I have it in front of me.
Let's go to what's numbered page 297. According to this, how many days was Mr. Stewart given to consider this option?
Well, I'm sorry, 21 days.
Okay, and that was in writing to him.
That's correct.
Did you need to wait for these 21 days for his response?
Yes.
Was he given an extension past this time?
Yes.
How much longer was the extension?
2 more days.
So he was given 23 days to consider this. Did he subscribe to this option or accept
No.
this option?
No.
And he had the right to reject it.
That's correct.
And he did, but he was given 23 days to consider it.
That's correct.
So that's the time frame, that's more than 3 weeks between the time they presented the charges and the time that they were presented to the board.
That's correct.
What, you gave him a version of the charges in May. Do you recall those? Do you recall the statement that the charges that were first presented to him?
Yes.
And you revised those afterwards?
Yes.
Did you believe there was a need for you to interview him for the additional charges that were added to the statement of charges?
No.
Did you ever read anything in the statute or any of the policies of the township or the fire department that required you to interview him as part of your investigation of additional charges?
No.
Is that not common in investigation of discipline matters?
Very.
Was it your experience when you were a police chief and before?
Yes.
During this time frame between the time that you presented an option and the time that the charge was filed, were you informed that Mr. Stewart had retained counsel?
Yes.
And what was your reaction to that? In terms of proceeding?
I was grateful.
No, I mean in terms of process.
I'm not sure I'm following the question.
I'll rephrase.
Okay.
Once Mr. Stewart was represented by counsel,
Yeah.
were you able to contact him directly?
No.
Because?
He has an attorney.
So you respected the right to have an attorney?
That's correct.
Just a moment. In order to close the loop on the delivery charges. And here has been marked as Township Exhibit 16. For the record, we identify and describe what Township Exhibit 16 is.
This is a email that I sent to Mr. Stewart on Monday, June 15th of this year at 1:36 p.m.
What was the purpose of the email?
That the statement of charges had been amended.
So he was informed of the amended charges?
Yes.
And again, what was the date?
That was June 15th, and he was told that if he wanted to meet to discuss these charges and provide a response prior to the board meeting on July 21st, he needed to notify me no later than noon on June 16th.
Did he notify you?
No.
Did he contact you at all?
No.
How did you interpret his silence?
That he was not interested.
And this is when the 21-day period plus extra days were running?
That's correct. And we set an available appointment time of June 17th at 8:30 a.m., but that never happened.
All right, give me just a moment, please. No further questions for this witness at this time. With the right to call him on rebuttal, or actually to do redirect, but then rebuttal if necessary. Time for a break?
Yes, so the time is 9:02. Let's take a 10-minute break to give people a chance to stretch their legs. And we'll reconvene at 9:12.
I know. Yeah, I was getting ready to be like, I gotta use the bathroom.
Is that your table that you're off the
No, actually, someone like the key
The chief's out of line. So is our chief.
I'm good. Just start mine. I have a witness in time of deposition. Sit down. Antonio, sit down. Answer questions.
It makes the night interesting. Keeps me on my toes.
You're still being so friendly.
Yeah, this is nice. This is new for me as well. Like, we don't have this fancy setup, so it's very nice. Yes.
So you live there?
I think so. I believe they have, yes.
My fault.
Scraping the bottom there.
Did you want to put this one somewhere else? Because they're not going to use the podium.
Actually, yeah, if you want to just put it next to her, that would be great. No, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, you're right. 9, 6, 7, 1.
I was trying, ran out of
Boardrooms.
I guess I'll ask you now. You guys plan on doing a transcript or?
Because I didn't have her phone number. She does concessions
Above my pay grade, to the right of my pay grade.
Maggie and Hardy.
Understood.
But the answer that you might get is probably
So I'll wait until the end.
I know.
It didn't drop.
it seemed to stay on.
Okay.
And I turned it off. I turned it off.
Oh, gotcha.
I forgot to turn it on. Very beginning.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you do. I will remember starting.
And then as far as I know, these ones in the YouTube function are still,
You're already
they're still working, so I'm not pausing it, just letting it run.
Yeah, yeah. I felt a little weird sitting down in the middle of a hearing, but I just wanted to let you know I was watching start winding down for bed. I usually don't get to bed until maybe 10 to midnight, somewhere in there. But I really should be going to bed.
All right,
Get up and shower, go to bed. You go. It's your bed. Oh, you didn't get. Oh, you didn't get it. I wasn't paying attention. That's why I had to turn it off.
You had
I
two
was
witnesses.
just suggesting, it would take me a little.
I heard I may not be swimming in the morning.
I may not be doing anything in the morning.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Are your witnesses next? Is that
No.
Chief just crossed the
Cross-examination.
Will this take 2 hours?
I was just suggesting that it will take a while.
I'm wondering when we should take a break. So decide your before the next break or before a decision or recess.
They're going to probably give you a call because I don't want to take witnesses out of the meeting and disrupt the pattern of the
Yeah, that's true. It's 10 after 9, I'll probably be pushing 11 before I get done. So we can start and stop in the middle, or
If you want to get part of it done, you try to break the point after testimony.
does that sound great? How late?
I'm just,
out?
I'm here on
It's
the
just here's another
sideline.
pretty face.
I'm trying to do what's agreeable.
I'll try to answer it.
Whatever's agreeable to the parties. I think we can keep Joe away for 100 hours.
if we start at 4, and you thought you could distill some of your questions
I
because you have
can't.
time,
Yeah, because
then how much time do you think your direct Mr. Stewart is going to be?
probably a couple hours.
And I would imagine my cross is probably not going to be as long as your direct.
Yeah. And then Westland's direct will be fairly short.
And the other witnesses on direct, I know you do 15 minutes on direct.
So I think next Monday, I think we'll go.
On the night, come back?
Just because I think I can. I mean, I'm just thinking I can probably distill it significantly if I have a chance to go back and do it. Otherwise, it would go straight in my mouth. Yeah, I guess we can start. I'll let you know. That's the question. We all stay
I've done these things way into the night, but I'm not the one who has to.
You want to know if it's around 10:30?
I think what I was just calling, you distill. Barb and I worked many times.
Yeah, we've known
in
each other for
many different
years.
environments. And if she says she can distill the questions after the review our votes.
So what am I hearing? You want to recess now? Recess for the night?
I think we recess the night, come back,
Leaning that way.
do his cross first, our second witness, done,
quick.
then you got yours. So it's a couple of hours each way, so we're probably looking about 5 to 6 hours. Monday can be done.
You're doing an awesome job. I gotta tell you.
Appreciate it. I thought you said it was a trouble. I didn't question it.
But I can't have a compliment. His birthday is in, what, 2 days?
No, it's today.
His birthday is today.
Oh, that's all we got.
And mine is the 1st of August. So, there you go.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday coming up.
No, I'm not. I don't mind telling people how old I am, because I'm older than 30. I'm 80, I'll be 88.
I'm not there yet.
So how, you're not there yet?
No.
We're talking about procedural.
I'm feeling
See whether or not you guys are.
Yeah.
Hey,
And I don't usually.
And he and I go back, I don't know how many years.
yeah, we need to go.
Not friendly, but we've known.
But I've been in this county since 2014.
Okay, I've been here since 2000.
And I watched
Been with Dave
Dave hired me into the office.
and Missy,
Melissa was there, Rick was there, Terry Horde was there.
Samantha. No, Samantha
Oh,
came later.
Yeah, she came later.
Yeah. Well, the two women and I and Beth go out about once a month.
I hear once in a while about your outings.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a good time.
You do have a good time.
I mean, we go from as old as dirt to Sam, who is 30. And you know, it's funny, you got that many women from different things, because I work for Jim Jordan, and they work as assistant prosecutors. And Beth just does, I don't know what.
Well, she does Township Trustees.
She does, that's right, yeah. So, I mean, it's a, you know, it's a good combination of women. Yeah. Gotta cut this thing off. I'll see you later.
Okay. Got it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wonderful career.
Started with political wise with Mike DeWine in 2004. So it's
pretty amazing. I attended the ice cream social that he had out of his house.
Yes.
It was beautiful. The way they set that up and the busing was very
I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it.
The man's friend fell the day before or something and cut her lip or something. And the wine on the floor had to talk to her. It was like June. That's good. An ice cream thing. They bus people from Cedar Glass's house. It was about the 50th one he had because he started it in 70 something.
We used to have to go out there and work as employees. You know, like a couple days before.
I bet.
Tables and get all that ready. And let me tell you, Fran, you did what Fran said.
Yeah, I bet.
But she was so much fun.
She really appeared to be like that.
Yeah.
They did a nice job. They passed out shirts that said 250 a.
Yeah.
Had a couple people on different boards and task force that have been working on things that were important to the government. Tomorrow there's a pharmacist fight back thing in the House Oversight Committee that Comer's in charge of. That Jim's on that committee.
Oversight committee.
Oversight, yeah, government oversight.
Okay.
After conferring with the attorneys for both parties, they have agreed to recess this hearing to be continued till July 27th at 4 p.m. The location will be the Union Rural Electric Building at 15461 US 36 in Marysville, Ohio. So the time is 9:17 p.m. We're going to recess at this point. Thank you for your attendance. And just so you're aware, there will be no live streaming of the event on the 27th at the new location. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. We're adjourned. Did I do that right? Good.